friends, I'm Dani, brand educator with Kenra Professional. I'm really excited to show you this summertime soft golden blonde. It's a really simple technique that's gonna give you a high impact blonde. I'm really excited to give you all my tips and tricks, so let's dive in. All right, to start this look, we're gonna go ahead and section her into 4 quadrants. We're gonna go from the apex of the head and the back to behind the ear and on each side. Now, depending on where your guest has their part line, we can go ahead and either start that on their part line or slightly off. So we went ahead today and started at her center part, and that's where we separated those 2 front sections. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start in my dominant side in this back quadrant. Depending on which side is more dominant for you, you can go ahead and start with that section. I just tend to start on this side because that way my foils are not gonna overlap and I'm not gonna run into them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do diagonal back sections, and I'm gonna skim off the top and do a regular foil, and then I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna do a teasy line, but I'm gonna over direct that to the front of the face. So it's gonna give a lot of diffusion and a great blend for the end result. All right, so in this back section, we are gonna do a diagonal back. And I'm gonna take a section about a ½ an inch to an inch, depending on how much lightness your guest wants is gonna be how big your sections are actually gonna be. So we're gonna try to make her an overall brighter. So we're gonna take and we're gonna skim off a weave right off the top. And then we're gonna go ahead and foil that. So for this project, we are using Simply Blonde Beyond Bond Lightener with 20 volume. I am using a mixing ratio of 1:2. So when I'm putting my lightener on, I'm starting down lower and I'm gonna feather that up towards the top. And then we're gonna go in and feather that all up so that we're gonna have that really nice blend. I'm gonna close this foil up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clip this out of the way. All right, for the rest of the section, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tease from about mid-length up, and I'm gonna do 3 pushes. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag that and over direct that to the front of the head. And we're gonna go ahead and do a foliage, and we're actually going to keep that over directed as we apply the lightener. This way, we're going to have that diffusion at the end, oh Lord. And then we're gonna take it and go closer to that top section and kind of at an angle, and then bring that back down. And then we're gonna feather that back up and really saturate those ends. And then I'm actually gonna triple this one, triple fold it, and it's gonna stay over to the side. Go ahead and drop this one back down, so we'll have 1 foil that way and 1 foil going towards the head. We're gonna continue this pattern all the way up this back section. So I'm gonna take about another 3/4 inch section. We're gonna weave, we're gonna weave off the top. Do a traditional highlight. Fold that one up, and then we will clip it out of the way. So we're gonna take this section, we're gonna tease from mids up. I'm gonna take our foil and we're gonna over direct that again towards the face. And then when we are applying that lightener, we are gonna start down lower, catch it onto that foil. Kind of a tip too, if you want to add a little bit of lightener to the middle of your foil to get that hair to stick as we're over directing it, that also helps. And then we're gonna bring that up at the top and we're gonna angle that down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and feather that back the same way. So we're getting a nice angle in addition to the over direction. Making sure to fully saturate those ends. keep going with this same pattern all the way up the head. All right, for this section, so we're kind of getting into where her highlights, her previous highlights were. So we're gonna go ahead and pull out these lighter pieces after we go through with that tease. So I'm gonna go ahead and tease from the mids, and then we still have these pieces to pull out. So we could do one of two things. We can pull them and drop them, and then go in and lift that, or we can take those and actually add conditioner on them, which I tend to do because then we basically get a deep conditioning treatment on those lighter pieces. As we all know, blondes love their conditioning treatments. So we're gonna finish this pattern on up the back of the head on both of these quadrants, and then I'll come back when we reach those front quadrants. All right, we went ahead and finished the back two sections, and we're gonna move on to our front sections. We're gonna do the exact same pattern where we're gonna weave off the top, and then we're gonna go ahead and do those Teasylights underneath. All right, so for this front section, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go with the diagonal back, just like we did it in the front section. Now she does have her previous highlight on here. We're just gonna go in with our Beyond Bond and 20 volume, and we're just going to retouch her previous highlights. All right, so for the hair in between, we're gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna tease up from mids up. In the foils, we're using our 20 volume developer, and then for our hair that we've left out, we're using our 10 volume. This is just to brighten up those ends. So we're gonna repeat this process through the rest of the head, and we are going to let her process for up to 40 minutes, and then we will come back before we do our toning process. All right, we're gonna start by spraying in Porosity Equalizing Spray. We're gonna fully saturate that. It is really going to just even out the porosity through the entire hair so that we have an even toning application. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start our root melt with equal parts 6 NUA and 7 NA. I like to take vertical partings when I am doing my root melt. This is not only gonna keep everything clean and keep my blonde nice and blonde, but it's also going to help it so we don't have any of our foil marks when we're coming down. One of the reasons I use vertical partings is because it truly gives a seamless blend, especially for those girls who may wear their hair half up, half down. It's not gonna have that harsh line of demarcation throughout the head. So having those vertical partings is gonna give it a little bit of a zigzag all the way through the head, giving it a much more seamless blend. I'm gonna do the same pattern around the whole head, but I'm gonna do the sides last because the front of the face usually has more porosity, so I don't want that to process faster than the back. Now that I have a root shadow on, I'm gonna go ahead and apply our rapid toners to all of the ends. I'm using equal parts SV, VP, and B with just a dot of the GV. It's an insurance policy to make sure we don't get too ashy. I start applying the rapid toners in the back because the back tends to be the least porous hair. Up in the front, the hair is more vellus, therefore it is more porous even with our Porosity Equalizing Spray. And with the 5-time pigment load in our rapid toners, we definitely want to make sure we're having an even canvas everywhere around. So you want to apply our rapid toners really fast because they have maximum oxidation within 5 minutes. So this is also a good technique to do right at the shampoo bowl. All right, so this is our final look of our Summertime Soft Golden Blonde. I really love how this came out. We got a lot of impact with a really simple application. Look how much brighter we got that underneath from where we started. This is a really great technique that's super fast and super easy that's gonna give you a really bright, high impact blonde. For more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to Kenra Professional's YouTube, and we'll see you at the next one.